Beloved chosen one, heaven paused when you endured. When the storm raged and shadows pressed in from every side, you stood still not because you had strength left, but because something holy refused to let you surrender. You did not even realize that all of heaven went silent in that moment. Angels leaned forward, holding their breath, watching a child of God refuse to bow to despair. You thought you were breaking, yet in truth, you were being crowned in secret. You see, the enemy thought if he could bury you under enough pain, you would forget who you were. But your spirit remembered. You whispered, "I will not quit," and those words became thunder in the unseen realm. Your perseverance echoed louder than any worship song you've ever sung. Every tear you cried was not wasted, it was counted, treasured, and transformed into evidence that your faith was genuine. Listen carefully, you didn't survive by accident. You were sustained by divine appointment. The night you thought you lost everything was the very hour heaven recorded your endurance as victory. The moment you kept standing when you could have walked away, God marked it. Every unseen act of faith, every prayer whispered through trembling lips, became incense before the throne. You are not ordinary. You were chosen for endurance. The reason your battle was so fierce is because your destiny is so significant. The pressure was proof of purpose. You are not being punished, you are being proven. The gold within you needed fire to shine, and though no one around you saw the spiritual warfare behind your smile, heaven did. We are reminded through the writings of Paul in the letter to the Galatians. Chapter 6, verse 9. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. This is not coincidence, it's divine timing. Heaven waited for you to come through that storm so that your endurance could serve as testimony to others who are still in the fight. The celebration in heaven was not because you were perfect, but because you persisted. You kept walking through the fire even when your faith trembled. You kept believing when logic said it was over. You kept praying when your heart was breaking. Do you know what happens when a chosen one refuses to give up? The entire kingdom rejoices. Heaven's armies lift their swords in salute. The Father smiles and says, "That one is mine." Your name is whispered among the angels as an example of divine resilience. The heavens remember what you endured in silence, the betrayal, the loneliness, the exhaustion, and they now declare, "It was not in vain." So lift your head, chosen one. This is your divine moment of recognition. Heaven saw the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Heaven saw the days you smiled through pain. Heaven saw you choose faith over bitterness. And because you didn't quit, something has shifted. There is a new fragrance around your life, the aroma of victory. You are standing where others fell, because God's hand sustained you. Do not despise the scars, they are proof that the enemy failed. Every battle mark on your soul is a medal in the spirit. You are not broken, you are battle-tested, and the heavens celebrate you not for surviving alone, but for staying faithful through the storm. This is the season to arise and shine again. What once tried to destroy you will now testify for you. What once silenced you will become the reason others find their voice. God is lifting you from the shadows to the spotlight of His glory, not because you demanded recognition, but because you remained obedient when no one was watching. Now hear this. Your endurance is a prophecy. The same God who carried you through will now cause your testimony to awaken others who thought it was over. The same tears that once fell in secret will become rivers of joy in your next season. You didn't lose time, you were being prepared for your appointed hour. If this word resonates in your spirit, pause for a moment, like, share, and subscribe not as a routine act, but as a prophetic agreement that you will no longer hide your light. Let your engagement be a declaration that you are stepping boldly into your divine calling. And in the comments, type this sacred number of alignment 777, a symbol of completion, divine perfection, and heavenly applause. You didn't give up. Chosen one, and heaven noticed. The battle few saw, God witnessed. You walked through seasons that looked calm on the outside, but within you, entire wars raged. No one could hear the sound of your silent warfare those nights when your thoughts screamed louder than your prayers, when your heart carried weights too heavy to name. You smiled when you wanted to collapse. You served when you had nothing left to give. You showed up when everything in you wanted to hide. And though the world didn't see it, heaven never looked away. God saw every tear that fell quietly onto your pillow. He saw the way you tried to keep your hope alive when circumstances kept striking at it like a hammer against glass. He saw you holding on to faith with trembling hands. He saw you sitting in the dark, whispering, "Lord, if you're still with me, give me strength to take one more step." He heard you. Every unspoken prayer was recorded. Every sigh was translated into divine language before the throne. There were days you thought, "Does anyone see me?" The answer is yes, God saw you when you couldn't see yourself clearly. You thought you were invisible, but you were under surveillance by heaven itself. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being studied by angels who marveled at how your small, steady faith kept burning in such fierce wind. The heavens are not blind to the faithful. Nothing escapes the attention of the one who numbers even the hairs on your head. When you wept and no one asked why, when you endured and no one clapped, when you forgave quietly without an audience, it was all seen, all known, all treasured. You have been living in a divine documentary written by God Himself, one that will one day be replayed before eternity, when He crowns those who endured in secret. You see, the hidden battles were not punishment. They were preparation. God allowed what others could not see because He wanted to shape what others could not touch. Every hidden struggle carved humility. Every unanswered question taught trust. Every lonely night produced oil, the kind that only comes through crushing. The anointing you carry today is the fragrance of every private surrender you ever made. You didn't lose those moments, you sowed them. Every tear became a seed in the soil of your destiny. Though invisible, they are growing into a harvest of wisdom, empathy, and authority that only comes through suffering. Your pain was not wasted, it was multiplied. Heaven never lets tears fall to the ground without purpose. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 56, verse 8, "You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book?" That verse is not poetry, it's record-keeping. Heaven literally collects what breaks you. The same God who flung galaxies into motion keeps a bottle for your tears. Each one is evidence. Each one is proof of your faith in motion. That bottle becomes testimony. When accusations rise against you, heaven lifts that bottle and says, "This one never stopped believing." There is a sacred beauty in unseen endurance. You may not realize it. But when you walked through heartbreak with grace, angels sang softly over you. When you forgave the unforgivable, heaven documented it as an act of divine strength. When you chose peace over vengeance, you reflected the very heart of Christ. God saw every moment you stayed kind when you could have been cold. Sometimes God hides your battle so He can reveal your victory. If others saw everything you faced, they would have tried to rescue you prematurely, but God needed the crushing to run its course, for the oil to flow pure. That's why no one understood you, why no one noticed your pain. He was keeping you undercover, shaping something eternal. Now the heavens whisper, your hidden faith has moved the unseen world. Your tears have watered the field of your future. The silence that once tormented you has become the space where heaven wrote your name in fire. You are not overlooked. You are observed by the one who never sleeps. And one day, when you stand before the throne, you will see how every sleepless night became light in the hands of God. You will understand why He allowed you to walk through valleys alone, because He wanted the fragrance of your faith to rise without interference. So breathe. Chosen one, the battle you thought no one saw was the one that impressed heaven most. Your unseen endurance has become your unseen weapon. You have gained a reputation in the spirit realm not as a victim, but as a veteran. And though the world may never applaud what you survived, the heavens already have. The weight that almost broke you was not meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal what could not be broken. You remember those moments, don't you? When the heaviness pressed on your chest so hard that even breathing felt like a prayer. When you tried to stand, and your knees trembled beneath the weight of disappointment. When the silence of God felt louder than any thunder. You didn't see it then, but every second you kept believing was rewriting your destiny. You weren't weak. You were being tested at the level of your calling. Heaven allows pressure only where purpose is great. You didn't know the magnitude of your anointing, so God allowed life to show you. The fire you endured wasn't random. It was divine calibration. You were being tuned to the frequency of endurance, trained to carry the next level of glory. There were times when it seemed like your heart would shatter from the weight of betrayal or loss. You felt abandoned, misunderstood, and unseen. But in that pain, heaven saw a different picture, a warrior being forged. The tears you shed weren't wasted, they were the water that softened the soil for new growth. And while you were breaking, angels whispered, "Don't stop now. Something sacred is being born in the suffering." You thought you were falling apart, but you were actually being reconstructed. You see, God doesn't build on comfort, He builds on surrender. When you reached the point where you said, "Lord, I have nothing left," that was when heaven said, "Now we can begin." Your strength ran out so that divine power could take over. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 10, "When I am weak, then I am strong." These words were not written from a place of victory, but from the depths of exhaustion. Paul understood what you are now learning, that weakness is not failure. It is the birthplace of supernatural strength. When you were too tired to pray, and yet your heart still whispered His name, that was power in its purest form. When you smiled through pain, that was worship in its highest form. When you stayed faithful in confusion, that was warfare at its most powerful. You didn't know it, but heaven was cheering when you kept walking with your head down, your spirit heavy but your faith intact. The weight was never meant to kill you. It was meant to confirm you. The enemy wanted you to collapse, but God used the same weight to carve strength into your spirit. That pressure was a teacher. That heartbreak was a sermon. That loneliness was an altar. And in those moments when you said, "God, why are you silent?" He was not absent. He was speaking through circumstance, sculpting patience, teaching trust. You were learning to lean, not on people, not on certainty, but on His character alone. Every chosen one must walk through the valley of almost giving up, almost losing faith, almost letting go. But the almost moments are the sacred threshold between collapse and resurrection. The fact that you are still here means resurrection won. The weight did not crush you, it crowned you. You are stronger than you realize. You are wiser than before. You carry a peace that the storm failed to steal. You walk differently now, not with fear, but with quiet authority. You survived the weight that others said would end you. And now your presence carries the fragrance of endurance. The weight that almost broke you has become your testimony. It is why your words carry depth, why your prayers carry fire. You are not who you were before that battle, and that is the point. You came out refined, resilient, and radiant. Now listen carefully. Every time you speak life, heaven remembers that season when you had to speak life into yourself. Every time you encourage someone else, heaven records the echo of your endurance. That is how legacies are born, not from perfection, but from perseverance. If you can feel this truth stirring in your soul, write this in the comments, I still believe. Do not type it as a casual phrase, type it as a declaration. You are not just writing words, you are engraving faith into the atmosphere. Every letter says, "The storm didn't win. My faith remains." When you type it, let heaven hear you. Let the darkness know that you are still standing. The weight that almost broke you revealed the unbreakable part of you. And that unbreakable part is what God will now use to carry His glory. You are no longer fragile, you are fortified. The battle tried to define you, but instead, it refined you. The weight did not crush you. It confirmed who you truly are, God's chosen one. Strong even when shaking, faithful even when hurting, victorious even when wounded. When hell targeted your light, it was never random. The darkness saw what you carried long before you understood it yourself. Before you even spoke a word of destiny, hell recognized the sound of your potential. The attacks that came against you were not proof of weakness, they were confirmation of worth. The enemy never wastes ammunition on what does not threaten him. You were born carrying something that terrified the kingdom of darkness. And that is why you have been fought so fiercely. From the beginning, light has always been opposed by darkness. Yet, from the beginning, light has always won. You may not have realized it at the time, but every assault on your peace, every betrayal, every heartbreak, every delay, these were spiritual strategies designed to extinguish your flame. But they failed. You are still burning. Maybe dim at moments, maybe flickering, but never extinguished. That is what heaven calls victory. There were moments when shadows whispered lies into your mind. They told you that you were forgotten, that you were unworthy, that your prayers no longer reached heaven. But the truth is this: the louder the lies, the closer your breakthrough. Hell always roars when heaven is about to release something powerful. The very intensity of the storm was proof that your light was about to pierce new ground. When you look back, you can see the pattern. Every time you grew stronger, warfare increased. Every time you healed, opposition followed. Every time you drew closer to God, distractions multiplied. The enemy's fear was never about what you lost. It was about what you were becoming. He tried to convince you that you were alone so you would dim your light voluntarily, but you never did. You kept shining. You kept hoping. You kept praying. There is something about your faith that disrupts darkness. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you invade enemy territory. Every time you speak peace instead of anger, you shatter demonic strategies. You carry a light that blinds darkness, and that is why the warfare has been so relentless. But now, heaven wants you to understand you are not being punished, you are being proven. The fire you walked through was not hell's victory, it was heaven's refining. Scripture speaks clearly through the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. This truth is eternal. The light within you cannot be overcome because it is not yours alone, it is divine light. It carries the breath of God. When darkness confronts you, It is not really confronting you. It is confronting the presence of God inside you. That is why you have survived attacks that should have destroyed you. You are not merely strong, you are anointed. The enemy saw your potential before you did. He saw the compassion that would heal others, the wisdom that would deliver souls, the purity that would restore families. So he aimed to make you question your own light. But every trial you endured became oil that fuels your flame even brighter. You were pressed but not crushed, tested but not destroyed. You are learning something rare, the art of glowing even in the dark. You don't need perfect circumstances to radiate peace. You don't need applause to shine with confidence. You shine because the one who created light lives within you. That is why despair cannot hold you, why fear cannot claim you. You are light walking through shadowed valleys, illuminating paths for those who follow behind. Hell targeted your light, but in doing so, it revealed its own defeat. Every attack that tried to silence you only proved your significance. The darkness has already lost its grip on you. The chains that once bound you have become testimonies of deliverance. What was sent to destroy you has become the reason others find their faith again. And now, your light burns differently. It's not loud, it's steady, and it's not showy, it's sacred, and it's the kind of light that guides, comforts, and exposes deception. You carry the flame of divine truth, and that flame cannot be hidden. It was never meant to be. Every step you take in obedience, every word of kindness you speak, every prayer you whisper, it pushes darkness back. You are not just surviving the battle, you are altering the atmosphere around you. The same places where the enemy once ruled now glow with your resilience. You are proof that the light of God within a single person can dismantle the plans of hell. So stand firm, radiant soul. The war against your light was never about defeat, it was about revelation. The enemy has already seen the ending written over your life. You win. You carry the kind of light that will lead many home, and no darkness can stop what heaven has ordained. The angels assigned to your endurance were never far from you. You may not have seen them, but they were there in the silence, in the ache, in the moments you nearly broke. They were stationed around you like a circle of quiet fire, holding back what would have destroyed you completely. There were times you thought you were standing alone, but in truth, an entire army stood guard around your trembling soul. You see, heaven does not send angels to those who give up. It sends them to those who keep walking even with bruised feet. The night you almost quit, an angel whispered, just one more breath, just one more prayer. When you were too weak to lift your hands, they lifted them for you. When you couldn't see a way out, they opened paths you didn't know existed. And when your heart felt too heavy to beat, they shielded it until hope returned. God's protection has always been more detailed than you imagined. You are surrounded, not by accident, but by divine assignment. You didn't survive because of luck or strength, you survived because heaven was under orders to keep you standing. Sometimes God lets you feel the pressure, but never the full impact. You feel the storm's wind, but his angels block the lightning. You hear the roar of the lion, but his warriors stand between you and its teeth. Heaven speaks clearly through the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. That verse is not poetic comfort, it's operational truth. Heaven's security system activated the moment you said yes to your calling. You have been under watch ever since. Every detour, every delay, even the closed doors were part of that divine protection. Some prayers were answered by prevention. Some relationships ended not because you were abandoned, but because God saw what you could not. There were days when help came through people who didn't even understand why they felt drawn to you. They were simply obeying whispers from heaven. An angel nudged someone's heart to send you a message at the right time. Another stirred someone to cover you in prayer while you slept. Heaven operates through both spirit and flesh to make sure the chosen one does not fall. Imagine your life as a small candle in a dark field. The wind howls, trying to snuff you out, but unseen hands cup around your flame. That's what endurance looks like from heaven's view, a guarded flame, glowing against all odds. You think your endurance is small, but to heaven it's a signal fire seen from galaxies away. And now, beloved, it's time to honor that light within you and keep it burning. Each time you share a message like this, you become the very hands that cup around another soul's flame. Each time you support, you become part of heaven's reinforcement for someone else's endurance. So if this word has touched you, let your heart respond in whatever way it can. Maybe that's a like, a share, or a simple subscription so that more of heaven's messages can reach those standing where you once stood. Maybe it's through a quiet donation, a seed of gratitude that helps this light travel farther. Think of it as pouring oil into a lamp, not a transaction, but participation in the ongoing miracle of endurance. Every gesture matters. Every share sends this flame into another dark room. Every subscription joins hands with the unseen angels who guard this mission. Every gift, no matter how small, becomes part of the fuel that keeps these messages alive for hearts around the world who still whisper, "God, speak to me." You are part of that divine story now. You're no longer just a listener, you are a light bearer. What heaven did for you through unseen angels, you now do for others through visible kindness. That's how the kingdom expands, not through noise, but through quiet acts of love that ripple across souls like light across water. Remember, your endurance has value. You've been kept for a reason. You're not just someone who survived, you're someone chosen to sustain others. Heaven doesn't waste victories, it multiplies them. Every message you pass forward, every offering of love you release, every moment you stand firm, you're proving that the angel's work was not in vain. The fire that once threatened to consume you has become the light that guides others home. You are the living proof that endurance attracts the armies of heaven. The hidden applause of heaven has been echoing over your name since the day you refused to let the darkness win. While people around you remained silent, while the world turned its back, heaven stood to its feet. You didn't hear the sound, but every step you took in obedience was met with thunderous praise above. You thought no one noticed your small victories, the quiet mornings you chose prayer over despair, the days you kept serving when no one thanked you but the throne room did. The applause was not of men, but of angels rejoicing over your endurance. The truth is, heaven often celebrates in silence. It doesn't send confetti or crowds. It sends peace. The calm that found you after the storm wasn't just coincidence, it was heaven's standing ovation disguised as rest. The reason you woke up one morning and felt lighter, as if something invisible had lifted, is because celebration had already begun in realms unseen. You were being honored in a language your spirit understood even when your mind didn't. There are victories that earth cannot comprehend. They are not measured in achievements or applause, but in perseverance. When you kept loving despite rejection, that was victory. When you refused to grow bitter, that was triumph. When you forgave and let go, heaven's trumpet sounded quietly across eternity. Every small act of faith added a note to a celestial song written in your honor. The sacred texts remind us in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6. Your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly. That verse is not about hiding from the world, it's about living before the audience of one. Heaven watches what earth overlooks. The applause you never heard is still resonating beyond time itself. The very breath you breathe right now is a continuation of heaven's song of gratitude for your endurance. You see, heaven does not reward public performance, it celebrates private obedience. The applause came when you chose integrity over compromise, when you honored God in the unseen corners of your life. Heaven's celebration is not loud, it's eternal. While earthly applause fades like smoke, divine recognition becomes legacy. It etches itself into eternity, where no enemy can erase it. Imagine the moment you will stand before the throne, and the same angels who protected you in secret will testify. This one did not quit. Every tear you shed, every sacrifice you made, every act of silent faith, they will all rise like incense before the King. What you considered small will be revealed as monumental in the light of eternity. This is why you must not envy the noise of others' success. Many have applause now, but silence later. You have silence now, but eternal applause waiting. Heaven's recognition is patient. It waits until your character matches your crown. It waits until your faith has matured enough to carry the reward without losing the humility that birthed it. There is a fragrance on your life now, the scent of perseverance. Heaven breathes it in with joy. Every chosen one has a unique fragrance, born from fire, formed through trials. Yours is the scent of someone who refused to give up when it would have been easier to disappear. And because of that, heaven celebrates you continually. You may not have realized this, but the people who overlook you are helping preserve your purity. If everyone celebrated you too early, your focus might shift. Heaven hides applause on purpose. It teaches you to keep walking for love, not recognition. The quieter your reward here, the louder it will resound there. So when you feel unseen, remember the silence is sacred. It is not emptiness. It is applause you have not yet heard. The Father is storing moments of reward for you, moments when He will make visible what was once invisible. And perhaps that is why you are reading this now, so that your spirit would remember heaven has not forgotten. You are still being celebrated in dimensions unseen. Every moment of endurance still echoes there. Every whispered prayer still rises there. Every act of obedience still shines there. If this truth touches something deep within you, let your soul respond with a simple prophetic act. In the comments, type the number 404. Do not type it casually, type it intentionally, as a sacred acknowledgement that heaven's applause is real and still resounding. The number 444 is symbolic of divine stability, heavenly alignment, and angelic protection. When you write it, let it be your way of saying, I know I am seen. I know heaven celebrates me even when the world is silent. You are not forgotten, chosen one. You are celebrated quietly, endlessly, gloriously. Heaven's applause has no end, and its sound is still surrounding your name. The reversal season begins quietly. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or loud announcements, but like dawn, it seeps into the darkness until you realize the light has changed. You've spent years sowing tears, patience, and faith into ground that looked barren. You've waited long enough to wonder if the promise was ever meant for you. But heaven is never late. Every delay you endured was divine timing, preparing the soil for a harvest that could not come too early. You see, God is not unjust. He never forgets seeds sown in pain. Every prayer that felt unanswered was actually a root forming underground. Every season of stillness was not stagnation, but cultivation. The roots of your faith had to grow deep enough to sustain the weight of the blessing now rising toward you. You were never buried, you were planted. The difference is only revealed when life begins to sprout from what looked dead. The prophet Joel once spoke words that now echo over your life in chapter 2. Verse 25, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Restoration is not repetition, it's redemption. When God restores, He doesn't give you back what you lost in the same form. He multiplies it, transforms it, and gives it back refined by fire. You're not stepping into what you had before you're stepping into what loss prepared you to carry. Heaven always repays with interest. Think about it. Joseph was forgotten in prison before he was remembered in the palace. Job sat in ashes before he was clothed in double favor. Naomi thought her life was over before Ruth's loyalty brought lineage that birthed a king. The reversal always begins with heartbreak. You had to walk through that valley so that when the dawn came, you would know how to cherish it. Every time something was stripped from you, friendships, opportunities, peace, it was not theft, it was pruning. God removed what could not sustain your next chapter. The people who left did not take your purpose. They only made room for what was divine. The plans that collapsed did not destroy your destiny. They cleared space for heaven's architecture. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. Reversal begins when you start to see loss differently. The very things that made you cry now make you wise. The wounds that once embarrassed you now become windows through which others see God's faithfulness. You no longer curse the pain because you see what it built inside you: compassion, strength, discernment. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You are the one who came out of it shining with quiet authority. Even the timing of your restoration carries intention. If it had come sooner, you would have mishandled it. If it had come easier, you would have shared the credit. But because it came through fire, you know exactly who deserves the glory. The humility forged in loss has prepared you to carry abundance without arrogance. This is what heaven means by reversal, not just receiving back what was taken, but being transformed until you no longer need it to feel complete. You will recognize this season not by what returns to you, but by the peace that arrives before it. There's a stillness before restoration, a deep knowing that you no longer chase. You simply attract what aligns. There's beauty in how God reverses things. The same people who doubted you will see you standing in grace they cannot explain. The same circumstances that once limited you will become platforms for testimony. The same voice that once trembled in fear will speak life into others. What once buried you will now become the foundation beneath your feet. And when that reversal unfolds, it won't feel rushed or dramatic. It will feel like exhaling after years of holding your breath. The favor that's coming won't knock you down, it will fit you perfectly, like a coat tailored by time. God's reversals are gentle yet undeniable. You'll wake up one morning and realize the pain no longer stings, the memory no longer burns, and the bitterness has turned into gratitude. You'll look around and see evidence of grace in places that once held only sorrow. The reversal season begins not when everything outside changes, but when peace returns inside. Once you stop mourning what was, heaven releases what's next. Once you release control, restoration finds you. You don't chase reversal, you embody it. You become living proof that nothing surrendered to God ever stays lost. So stand still. Chosen one, the shift has already begun. What was meant for harm is being rewritten as blessing. The same soil that held your tears is now birthing your breakthrough. You don't need to fight for it, it's already ordained. You simply need to recognize it. This is the turning of the tide. Heaven's handwriting is on your story, and it reads one word: restored. The mark of the survivor does not fade, it glows. You may not see it in the mirror, but the spirit realm recognizes it instantly. Those who carry it walk differently, speak differently, radiate differently. You can tell who has walked through fire and returned refined, not burnt. The mark is not a scar of shame, it's a seal of glory. On it says, This one has been through the valley of death and did not surrender their light. You carry stories inside you that most people could not endure for a day. Yet you are still here, still standing, still choosing love, still choosing hope. That alone makes you extraordinary. The world values perfection, but heaven values endurance. You may think you are ordinary because you simply survived, but to heaven, survival in faith is the highest form of victory. The prophet Isaiah once recorded in the sacred texts, chapter 53, verse 5, "By his wounds we are healed." Those words are not only about Christ, they reveal a pattern written into the fabric of redemption. Healing always comes through wounding. Restoration always comes through breaking. Even Jesus bore marks that became proof of his victory. The resurrected Christ still had scars in his hands. They were not erased because they testified. And now, so do yours. Your scars are your sermons. They speak in silence. When someone looks at you and asks, "How did you make it through?" that your smile becomes an altar. Your story becomes revelation. You may think you're just surviving, but your very existence preaches hope to those watching from afar. You are living evidence that grace works. You have seen nights that tried to bury you in despair. You have walked through seasons where your soul felt fractured. You have watched dreams collapse, only to find faith beneath the rubble. And every time, you rose not by your own strength, but by a strength you did not know you carried. That strength is divine residue, the mark left behind by heaven's hand. The mark of the survivor is not physical, it's spiritual. It's the calm in your tone when others panic. It's the peace in your eyes when storms rise again. It's the compassion that flows from your wounds, because you know what it means to bleed. You now see pain differently, not as punishment, but as a teacher. You no longer fear the valley because you met God there. Some people will sense something sacred about you without understanding why. They'll feel comfort around you, even in silence. That's because your survival has altered the atmosphere around you. You carry the fragrance of someone who has wrestled with angels and lived to tell the story. You walk as one who has seen both darkness and dawn, and knows that dawn always wins. When you speak, even softly, there's authority in your words. You don't need to shout, because your scars do the speaking. They tell the truth that only the broken can tell, that pain can purify, that surrender can save, that faith can rebuild what fire destroyed. And though your journey left marks, those marks have become your ministry. The very places where you were wounded are now the places through which God heals others. You touch hearts not by theory but by testimony. You know what despair feels like. So when you speak hope, it carries weight. You know what betrayal feels like. So when you talk about forgiveness, it pierces souls. You have become a bridge for others to cross. Where you once stumbled, others will now walk freely. Where you once wept, others will now find wisdom. The mark of the survivor is not about pride, it's about purpose. You did not endure only for yourself, you endured for the countless souls who will draw strength from your story. Even now, heaven looks at you and smiles. Not because you have no scars, but because your scars shine like polished gold. Every time you choose to love again, heaven celebrates. Every time you walk in peace, heaven testifies. Every time you extend grace, heaven records another victory. You are no longer defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what rose within you because of it. The pain that once felt meaningless now carries divine meaning. The nights you thought were wasted were actually sanctuaries of transformation. Every scar on your heart became a map leading back to the heart of God. This is your identity now, not the wounded, but the redeemed, not the broken, but the rebuilt. The mark you carry tells the world, I went through hell and found heaven's hand holding me. That is your legacy. That is your testimony. And no power in existence can erase that mark, for it is carved not on your skin, but in your spirit. You are the proof that healing exists. You are the living reminder that pain cannot have the final word. The mark of the survivor is not something to hide. It is something to honor. Because when the light of heaven touches it, it shines like a crown. There comes a moment when heaven's voice echoes through the deepest places of your soul. A call that cannot be ignored, a whisper that feels like thunder rise again. Chosen one. This is that moment. You have walked through valleys. You have wept through nights that felt endless, and yet you are still standing. But heaven is not asking you to simply survive anymore, it is commanding you to rise. You see, the world measures strength by motion, but heaven measures it by resurrection. It's not about how many times you fell, it's about how many times you stood back up when falling felt final. The grave you once sat beside is now empty, because God has called your name. The chains that held you no longer fit your spirit. The cage that once confined you has been opened, but only you can step out. God's call to rise isn't a suggestion, it's a command born of love. The same power that raised Christ from the dead now stirs in your spirit. It whispers in your restlessness. You cannot stay here. You've mourned long enough, doubted long enough, hidden long enough. Heaven is shifting you from survival into purpose, from pain into promise, from waiting into walking. The sacred texts declare in the book of Proverbs, the chapter 24, verse 16, For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Those words are not about perfection, they are about persistence. The righteous do not rise because they never fall. They rise because they refuse to stay down. Every failure has been fertilizer for your growth. Every setback has been setting up your comeback. The hands that once trembled in fear now carry power. The voice that once cried in silence now speaks with authority. It's time to rise not just physically but spiritually. Rise in thought, rise in belief, rise in expectation. The enemy's greatest fear was never your fall, it was your resurrection. Because when a chosen one rises, darkness loses territory. Every time you get up, something in the unseen realm breaks. Every time you speak life over yourself again, the foundations of despair crack beneath your feet. This isn't the same rising as before. This time, you're rising with revelation. You've seen what pain can do, but you've also seen what grace can undo. You've tasted bitterness, but you've also tasted the sweetness of mercy. You know what it means to lose, but more importantly, you know what it means to be found. This resurrection isn't about reclaiming your old life, it's about stepping into a new one that suffering made possible. Think of a seed buried underground. It looks like death, but inside, something unstoppable is happening. Pressure breaks its shell, darkness covers it, but soon it rises, pushing through the soil toward light. That's you. You've been underground long enough. The cracking, the pressing, the isolation, all of it was preparation for your emergence. When God says, rise, He's not telling you to pretend the pain never happened. He's telling you to use it, to stand on it, to build from it. The very thing that tried to bury you will become your foundation. You are no longer the same version of yourself that entered the battle. You are wiser, stronger, softer, and more aligned with heaven's purpose. Don't wait for perfect conditions to rise. Rise in the middle of the uncertainty. Rise while your hands still shake. Rise even when the evidence says stay down. Because the act of rising itself summons divine help. Heaven moves when you move. Angels are assigned to motion, not hesitation. You may not realize it, but every time you rise again, someone else finds hope to do the same. Your strength becomes contagious. Your persistence becomes prophetic. The ripple of your rising spreads further than your eyes can see. If your spirit feels this pull, respond in faith right now. Type in the comments, "I'm standing up." Do not type it as a phrase, type it as a prophecy. Those 3 words hold power. When you declare, "I'm standing up," you are not just making a statement, you are announcing to both heaven and hell that your story isn't over. You are saying, "I may have fallen, but I refuse to stay fallen." Let those words be your spiritual signature on this chapter of restoration. Rise again, chosen one. Heaven is watching, not to test you, but to celebrate you. The dust on your knees is not shame, it is proof that you fought. The light returning to your eyes is not illusion, it is resurrection in motion. The grave could not hold your Savior, and it cannot hold you. So rise. Rise with courage. Rise with humility. Rise with the quiet fire of someone who knows what it costs to still be here. For the heavens have declared it, you were never meant to stay buried, you were destined to rise. The crown formed in secret was never made of gold, it was woven from endurance, tears, and faith. You didn't see it forming, but heaven did. While you were breaking, threads of glory were being spun through every hardship. While you were praying in silence, divine hands were shaping something on your behalf. Every test you passed in private added another jewel to your unseen crown. You thought you were just surviving, but in truth, you were being fitted for royalty. You see, crowns are not forged in celebration. They are crafted in the crucible of struggle. The noise of life had to quiet down so that heaven could mold your destiny. Each rejection was a chisel. Each disappointment was a hammer. Every heartbreak pressed shape into the metal of your faith. Crowns are not mass-produced, they are handmade, custom-forged through pain and perseverance. There is a mystery in the making. When you bowed your head in defeat, heaven was measuring your humility. When you stood up again, heaven was measuring your strength. Both were needed to shape the balance of your calling. That's why your path felt uneven, why blessings sometimes hid behind sorrow. The crown you wear in this season was formed in the secret workshop of grace. The Apostle James spoke of it long ago in his letter. Chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. The crown of life isn't just a reward for later, it's a reality that begins now. It's the quiet dignity you carry when others crumble. It's the unshakable peace that storms can't steal. It's the compassion that flows from someone who's been through fire and still chooses love. You wear that crown already, though the world may not recognize it. It gleams in the spiritual realm, visible to angels and feared by darkness. Imagine a seed deep in the soil, covered by dirt. No one claps for it, no one notices it. Yet underground, a miracle is taking place. That's what your process has been. You were hidden so that roots could grow strong enough to hold the weight of what's coming. If you had been celebrated too soon, your crown would have been unstable. Heaven hid you not to punish, but to preserve. There were nights when you asked, "Why me?" and heaven answered, "Because only you could carry this." Your journey was not random, it was refined. You've been sculpted by unseen hands for a destiny that cannot be rushed. Now the time has come for what was forged in secret to shine in the light. And yet, even as heaven begins to unveil your next season, remember this: crowns are maintained through humility. The same fire that shaped you must remain in your heart to sustain you. That's why these words reach you now, to remind you to stay grounded, compassionate, and connected to the flow of divine purpose. If this message stirs something in your spirit, if you feel heaven's gentle nod that this is your moment, then I invite you to help this light continue reaching others. Every like is a spark that helps this message find another soul wandering in the dark. Every share is like placing a lantern along the path for someone behind you. Every subscription becomes a quiet promise that you will keep walking with us as we release heaven's words into the world. And if you feel led, your donation is not just a gift, it is oil for the flame. Like the widow who poured her last drop and found it multiplied, what you release becomes fuel for more hearts to be reached, more voices to be lifted, more light to spread across the world. It is never about transaction, it's participation. You become part of heaven's craftsmanship, helping more crowns to be formed in secret places. Think of it this way: when a lamp runs low on oil, its light begins to flicker. But when fresh oil is poured in, the flame steadies and grows stronger. That's what your support does. It steadies the flame. It keeps the words flowing. It ensures that messages like this continue to reach the ones who need it most, the ones who are still in their secret workshops, wondering if their pain has meaning. So as you listen, take a breath. Feel that crown above you. It's real, invisible to the eye, but weighty in spirit. It's proof that you endured, that you passed the test, that heaven's favor rests upon you. And every act of kindness, every seed of support, every click of faith, it all polishes that crown a little brighter. You are not merely receiving light, you are helping carry it. And one day, when you see the full masterpiece of what God has been shaping through you, you'll realize every hidden season, every unseen offering, every quiet act of faith was worth it. The crown formed in secret was never about royalty, it was about responsibility. To shine so that others may rise. Enemies will watch your elevation. It is written in the story of every chosen one. The very ones who mocked your tears will one day witness your triumph. But do not let bitterness stain your blessing. The point was never to prove them wrong. The point was to prove that God is faithful. You have walked through ridicule that felt unjust. You've been the topic of whispered conversations, misunderstood by people who never took the time to understand your heart. Some labeled your silence as weakness, your humility as defeat. But what they didn't see was that heaven had placed you in a cocoon, hidden from their eyes, so you could transform without interference. When God prepares elevation, He often invites your enemies to the audience not to humiliate them, but to demonstrate His justice. The psalmist once wrote in chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This is not about revenge, it's about revelation. God sets the table not to shame others, but to honor you. The same ones who thought you would never rise will see you seated at that divine feast, not gloating, but glowing. Your elevation will speak louder than your explanations ever could. You may not realize it, but you have already begun ascending. The shift doesn't always start with promotion or wealth, it begins with peace. The fact that you no longer crave validation is elevation. The fact that you no longer chase what you've outgrown is proof that heaven has lifted you higher. Elevation often begins in the heart long before it manifests in the world. When you refuse to retaliate, that was your first step upward. When you blessed those who cursed you, you climbed another step. When you chose stillness instead of revenge, you rose again. Every act of restraint built invisible stairs beneath your feet, lifting you closer to divine altitude. Now heaven is orchestrating the reveal. You don't need to announce it. Those who need to see it will. The same mouths that once doubted you will whisper, I don't know how they made it through that. They won't understand that you were carried by grace, that angels paved the way before your weary feet. God often allows opposition as a mirror. It reveals who you've become. When insults no longer wound you, when lies no longer move you, when betrayal no longer breaks you, that's when you know you've matured. Elevation is not measured in how high you climb, but in how light you travel, free of resentment, free of need, free of proving yourself. Your enemies were necessary, not because they were right, but because they were instruments in your refinement. Their rejection pushed you into God's arms. Their criticism trained your focus. Their doubt became fuel for your faith. Without them, you might have settled. But they unknowingly became the wind beneath your wings, forcing you to rise higher than comfort ever could. And when the moment of unveiling comes, remember this truth: God will not allow your success to embarrass your enemies, but to enlighten them. Some will come seeking forgiveness. Others will remain silent, but they will see. And in that seeing, heaven's justice will be complete. Do not waste your energy on proving points. Your peace is your proof. Your progress is your response. You owe no explanations. Your existence as a survivor is explanation enough. The best revenge, if it can even be called that, is joy that cannot be faked, peace that cannot be stolen, purpose that cannot be shaken. Let your rise be gentle. Let your growth be graceful. You are not climbing over others. You are simply being lifted by divine design. The hand that raises you is steady and intentional. You will not stumble on this elevation, for your humility has become your foundation. As you ascend, take nothing toxic with you. Pride, bitterness, and comparison cannot breathe in higher air. Leave them behind. Carry only gratitude and mercy. You will find that the higher you rise, the quieter it becomes, not because you are isolated, but because only truth can survive that altitude. And in time, the same people who once doubted your purpose will come to you for counsel, and you will offer it freely. That is the difference between the vindictive and the victorious. The vindictive seek to be right. The victorious seek to be light. So walk softly, crowned one. Heaven has set your table. Your seat is waiting, and the fragrance of grace that surrounds your life will testify for you. You won't have to say a word. The banquet of blessing laid before you will speak loud enough. You are not rising to be seen. You are rising so others can believe. The feast is not about your fame. It's about God's faithfulness. And when they watch, let them see love, not pride, peace, not proof, mercy, not malice. For the mark of true elevation is when your victory still carries the scent of humility. The shift in the spiritual atmosphere is not coming, it has already begun. You may not have seen lightning in the sky or heard thunder in the clouds, but something deep within you has felt it. The heaviness that once surrounded you has started to lift. The air around your spirit feels different, lighter, charged, alive. You are standing in the early breeze of a divine transition. This shift did not begin outside of you, it began within you. Heaven always moves in the heart before it manifests in the world. When your thoughts began to change, when peace started replacing fear, when forgiveness took the place of resentment, that was the beginning of the shift. The spiritual realm noticed it first. Heaven marked it. Darkness felt it. For years, resistance clung to you like a shadow, making every step feel uphill. It wasn't that God was silent, it was that He was strengthening your authority. You were being trained for a realm of influence that required resilience. And now, because you endured, because you did not give up, that authority rests upon you. What once resisted you will now recognize you. The voice of Jesus spoke clearly through the Gospel of Luke. chapter 10, verse 19. Behold, I give you authority over all the power of the enemy. That word authority is not abstract, it is inheritance. It means you no longer beg for victory, you speak it. You no longer chase blessings, you command alignment. You no longer pray as one hoping to be heard, you pray as one who knows they are backed by heaven's decree. This is the evidence of the shift. You are moving from asking to declaring, from hoping to possessing, from surviving to reigning. When the spiritual climate shifts, everything responds. The same atmosphere that once oppressed you now obeys you. The doors that once stayed closed begin to open with ease. Conversations that once drained you no longer affect your peace. Environments that used to intimidate you suddenly feel small beneath your confidence. The authority of God within you changes everything around you. You'll notice subtle signs, your discernment sharpening, your dreams becoming clearer, your prayers gaining weight. It's as if heaven itself has turned up the volume. That's because your spirit is now aligned with divine frequency. You've tuned out the static of fear, doubt, and distraction. Now, when you speak, your words carry creative power. What you decree in faith begins to manifest because your voice carries the echo of divine authority. The shift has also changed your enemy's response to you. Where they once attacked freely, now they hesitate. Where confusion once followed you, now clarity walks before you. The darkness that once hunted you now flees at the sound of your worship. You are no longer reacting, you are commanding. You have crossed from defense into dominion. But hear this clearly. Chosen one authority is not arrogance, it is stewardship. God is trusting you with power because you proved faithful in weakness. You will wield it not to control, but to heal, not to boast, but to bless, not to intimidate, but to illuminate. The authority upon you is not for conquest, it's for compassion. Everywhere you go now, atmospheres will bend toward peace. Conversations will change because you walked into the room. Environments will feel lighter because your presence carries heaven's frequency. That is what happens when the shift becomes complete. The anointing in you begins to affect everything around you. Don't be surprised if people start saying, "There's something different about you." They may not understand what it is, but they'll feel it. They'll sense safety in your presence because the Spirit of the living God moves through your very breath. Even your silence carries healing now. Your smile disarms fear. Your words restore hope. You have become a vessel through which heaven manifests its authority on earth. And so, as you stand here halfway between what was and what's coming, let your soul acknowledge this truth. You are not under the atmosphere anymore. You are shaping it. You no longer adapt to energy, you set it. You no longer shrink in the presence of darkness, you radiate light until it flees. This is what the shift has done. It has made you a walking embassy of heaven. If your spirit recognizes this change, if you can feel the authority resting upon you even now, then make a simple act of prophetic agreement. In the comments, type the number 555. Do not type it lightly. Type it as a declaration that the shift is complete. The number 555 represents divine grace multiplied, the completion of transition, and the establishment of new order. When you type it, you are saying, "I receive this shift. I walk in authority. I will not return to the old season." The atmosphere around you has changed because the atmosphere within you has changed. Heaven no longer hovers over you, it moves through you. You are the evidence of divine transformation, the carrier of new air. Breathe deeply. Chosen one. The shift is real, and it has your name on it. The restoration of joy begins softly. It doesn't come as an explosion of laughter or a sudden shout of celebration. It begins as a quiet warmth returning to the corners of your soul that once felt frozen. After so many storms, after so many nights of silence, it feels strange at first. You almost don't recognize it, this subtle lifting of the heart. Yet, as light follows dawn, joy returns. Slowly, deliberately, beautifully. You see, sorrow had its season. It was not punishment, it was process. The ache you carried carved space inside you for deeper gladness to dwell. Only those who have known true loss can experience true joy. Pain deepens capacity. It stretches the vessel so that when heaven pours out laughter again, it has somewhere vast to land. That is why your joy will not look like the world's. It will not be shallow or fleeting, but sacred and strong. We are reminded in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That scripture is not a metaphor, it's a promise. Morning always comes. It may take longer than you expect, but it never fails to arrive. And now, beloved, your morning has begun. The first rays are touching the edges of your horizon, and with them comes the sound of laughter long silenced. Joy is not the absence of pain, it's the presence of purpose. You no longer need everything to make sense to smile again. You've learned that peace does not mean perfection, and that happiness is not about what happens, but about who holds you. This realization itself is the restoration, the awareness that you can feel light even with scars, that you can dance even with memories of battle still in your bones. Your heart, once heavy, now remembers rhythm. The laughter you thought was gone forever is beginning to echo again, not as noise, but as melody. Heaven is conducting this symphony of renewal in you. What used to feel like ashes now feels like soil. New life is sprouting where sorrow once grew. When God restores joy, He does not simply give it back. He multiplies it. He gives double for your trouble, beauty for your ashes, songs for your sighs. You will laugh deeper because you once wept harder. You will celebrate louder because you once sat in silence. You will find yourself smiling for no reason because grace itself has become the reason. Restoration begins when you start to notice small delights again. The sunlight through leaves, the comfort of ordinary mornings, the tenderness of simple conversations. Heaven often hides miracles inside the mundane. The same God who parted seas also paints sunsets. Both are acts of love. Your restored joy will live not only in great victories but in gentle moments. There will come a day, soon, when someone will look at you and say, "You look different." They'll notice the peace in your eyes, the steadiness in your voice, the softness in your smile. They won't know what to call it, but you will joy, not the kind that fades when circumstances change, but the kind that stays even when tears return. Because you now understand that both laughter and pain can coexist in the same heart. And still, God is good. Restoration is not about going back, it's about going forward renewed. The laughter you will carry in this new season is not naive, it's informed. It knows what loss feels like and chooses life anyway. It's laughter that knows the cost of hope and still pays the price. That is the most powerful kind of joy, the kind that has seen darkness and still believes in dawn. Look closely at your journey. You once thought your heart would never feel light again, yet here you are, breathing easier, smiling more. You once thought the wound would never close, yet now you touch it and feel gratitude instead of grief. That is the miracle of restoration. It transforms what once hurt into what now heals. The same voice that calmed the storm has spoken over your spirit, and it says, "Be still and live again." You are free to enjoy life again, to laugh without guilt, to celebrate without fear that it will all disappear. The joy returning to you is not fragile, it is anchored in eternity. It does not depend on circumstance. It flows from covenant. Your laughter will become prophecy. When others hear it, their hope will awaken. Your smile will remind them that sorrow does not last forever. You will carry an atmosphere of gladness wherever you go, and even without words. Others will feel peace. That is what restored joy does, it overflows. So breathe deeply. The long night has passed. The dawn has broken. The tears that watered the soil have given birth to songs of praise. Heaven has not only restored your joy, it has made it unshakable. You were forged for fire, not formed in comfort, not shaped in ease, but crafted in the heat of trial. Every chosen one is gumum. The flames that threatened to consume you were, in truth, the very forces that refined you. You are the product of pressure, the result of persistence, the living evidence that fire can purify without destroying. At times, you wondered why life seemed relentless, why every step forward seemed to attract new resistance. But fire is not sent to everyone. It is reserved for those with purpose. Gold alone is refined by flame because it carries hidden value. The furnace only visits those destined to shine. That is why your battles were unique. You were not being punished. You were being prepared for a level of strength ordinary hearts cannot carry. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Those words reveal a mystery. Refinement is not a punishment from heaven, it is an invitation. When God allows the fire, He is not watching from a distance, He is standing within it, as He did with the three in Babylon's furnace. You were never alone in the flame. That's why you came out smelling like smoke but never scorched. The heat touched your surroundings, but not your essence. What was meant to break you only burned away the impurities that could not follow you into your next season. Every flame you faced had purpose. The fire of betrayal taught you discernment. The fire of waiting taught you patience. The fire of loss taught you empathy. You thought each blaze was random, but it was divine choreography, each spark shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying glory without pride. There's something about those who survive fire. Their eyes carry depth. Their words carry weight. They no longer speak from theory, but from testimony. You've met them before, the people whose presence brings peace, whose resilience humbles you. That is what you have become. The heat gave you authority that cannot be faked. Now, when you speak hope, it carries the resonance of someone who has seen flames and still chosen faith. Fire also separates. It reveals what was never meant to stay. Some relationships couldn't endure the heat and fell away. That was not loss, it was purification. Some dreams melted because they were built of wax, not metal. What remained is real, enduring, eternal. You may have fewer things, fewer people, fewer certainties, but what remains is pure gold. Look back carefully. The seasons that hurt the most produced the greatest fruit. The days that nearly broke you taught you endurance. The nights that drained you taught you dependence. Without the furnace, your faith would still be fragile. But now it's tempered strong, flexible, unshakable. The fire didn't just change your circumstances, it changed your nature. And here is a divine secret: those who are forged in fire become carriers of warmth for others. You now hold within you a light that comforts those still in the flames. You understand their cries, because you once cried the same. You recognize their confusion because you once asked the same questions. Your empathy is not pity, it's power, born of experience. So do not despise the scars left by heat, they are sacred inscriptions. Proof that God trusted you with the furnace. Each one says, "This vessel has been tested and found worthy." The world often fears fire, but heaven celebrates those who survive it. You are one of them, the refined, the resilient, the radiant. There will still be smaller fires ahead, life's gentle reminders. That refinement never fully ends, but you will walk through them differently now. No panic, no despair. Only awareness. I have been here before, and I know who walks beside me. That calm is the greatest evidence of transformation. The fire that once terrified you has become your ally. It no longer burns you, it blesses you. It no longer consumes, it commissions. You carry its warmth, but not its pain. You glow from within, tempered by grace, strengthened by trial, ready for the weight of glory that follows all who have endured the heat and remained faithful. Heaven's trumpet over your name has sounded, not a blast of arrogance, but a call of recognition. The season of silence is over. The same heaven that once seemed still is now echoing with your victory. You have endured the hidden fires, and now heaven declares your endurance publicly. The sound is not one the world can hear with its ears, but your spirit feels it, a vibration that says, "You made it." When God announces someone, He doesn't need a stage or spotlight. He speaks through timing. Suddenly doors open that were locked for years. Suddenly hearts soften toward you. Suddenly grace finds you in places that once rejected you. That is heaven's announcement, subtle but undeniable. The trumpet doesn't sound to make you famous. It sounds to position you. It calls you into alignment with everything that was waiting for your obedience. You may not realize it, but every act of faith you made in silence became a note in that celestial melody. The nights you prayed, the mornings you pushed forward, the hours you worked unseen, all of them became music before the throne. Heaven took what looked like routine and turned it into rhythm, and now, that rhythm has become a song of victory playing over your name. We find this truth reflected in the ancient words of the first book of Samuel, Chapter 2, verse 30. Those who honor me, I will honor. God does not forget faithfulness. Every time you chose integrity over convenience, He made note of it. Every time you loved when it hurt, He marked it. Every time you gave when you barely had enough, He wrote it into your story. You honored Him when no one was watching, and now He honors you in ways no one can explain. You might notice the shift through little things. People begin to remember you. Opportunities appear without striving. Your name finds favor in unexpected conversations. These are not coincidences, they are trumpet sounds in the natural realm, announcing that divine timing has arrived. But remember this, beloved, when heaven announces you, it is not to inflate you, it is to release you. The trumpet isn't for applause, it's for assignment. It says, now take your place. Now carry what you've been prepared to carry. Heaven's sound is not a celebration of status, but a commissioning for service. And this, dear one, is where your heart matters most. The trumpet may lift your name, but humility must guard your spirit. A trumpet without humility becomes noise. A trumpet guided by love becomes message. That is why you are hearing these words now, to stay aligned, anchored, awake. If this message resonates within you, if you feel the vibration of that heavenly trumpet stirring your heart, let this moment be your gentle response. Take a breath and think of how far you've come. Consider how many messages like this have touched you in moments of need. Every like you leave behind is like a ripple of gratitude, a soft amen echoing through the algorithm of souls. Every share is like handing another traveler a torch in the night. When you subscribe, you are not joining a list, you are stepping into a circle of light bearers who walk this same path of faith and fire. You become part of a movement that carries hope into unseen corners. Your presence keeps this flow alive. Your engagement keeps these words reaching those who still wonder if heaven remembers them. And if your heart feels moved to donate, understand this, it's not payment, it's partnership. Think of it as adding oil to a lamp that burns not just for you, but for countless others. Each seed you sow becomes light for someone's midnight. It becomes the whisper that reaches a soul on the edge of giving up. You are not giving to a voice. You are giving through it so that heaven's words can keep traveling farther than any one person ever could. As for your comments, those matter more than you think. When you write beneath these messages, your words become small beacons for others scrolling through the storm. They see your faith, your honesty, your testimony, and suddenly, they feel less alone. Your comment could be the very sign someone else was praying for. So write, even if it's just a few words. Your voice belongs in this symphony of survivors. Heaven's trumpet has sounded, and it carries your name on its wind. This is your time not to boast, but to bless, not to climb, but to carry others upward. Let your hands be open, your heart be generous, and your spirit remain teachable. Because when heaven honors a soul, it does not lift them above others, it lifts them where they can lift others higher. And that, chosen one, is the real sound of victory. You are the proof that God delivers. Your story is no longer just a collection of struggles, it is living evidence that grace still rescues, that mercy still reaches low places, that faith still works. Everything you survived was not merely for endurance, it was for revelation. Heaven intended for your survival to speak. You have become the message. There were days when you whispered, "Will this ever make sense?" And now, slowly, the pieces fit. What once seemed like chaos now forms a pattern. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak became a line in the testimony heaven was writing through you. You didn't just survive the storm, you discovered the one who commands it. That realization alone has shifted everything. You no longer speak from theory, you speak from evidence. You can tell others, "I know what deliverance feels like," because you've lived it. You've watched God pull you from pits you didn't dig yourself, and some you did. You've watched Him turn pain into purpose, ashes into authority, weakness into witness. You are walking proof that what the enemy meant for evil, God has rewritten for good. The sacred revelation recorded in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11 declares, "They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Those words describe you perfectly. The blood of the Lamb redeemed you, but your testimony confirms it. Every time you tell your story, you spread fragments of victory into the air. Every time you speak of how you made it through, you remind darkness that it lost. You don't need to be a preacher or a prophet, your existence already preaches. There is something holy about the way your life unfolds now. The same streets where you once stumbled have become places where others find their footing. The same pain that once silenced you has become the power behind your compassion. You no longer look at your past as shame, it has become sacred territory where God proved Himself faithful. You are the proof that deliverance doesn't always look like escape. Sometimes, deliverance is endurance. Sometimes, it's not that God removes the storm, but that He teaches you how to walk through it without drowning. Sometimes, deliverance is the quiet strength that helps you face the same mountain with new confidence. Knowing you are not alone, look back for a moment. Think of the nights you thought you wouldn't make it, the ones where prayer felt like breathing underwater. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing. That's not coincidence. That's deliverance. You are living proof that faith still saves. Deliverance does not erase scars, it redeems them. Your scars are now sermons in flesh. They testify that pain was not the end of the story. When people see you smile, they are witnessing the aftermath of a miracle. When they hear your peace, they are hearing the echo of battles already won. And you may not see it, but others are watching you. Quietly, from the sidelines. They're watching how you carry peace in chaos, how you keep showing up, how you keep believing when everything says you shouldn't. Without realizing it, your endurance is giving permission to others to hope again. That is what it means to be proof. Not perfection, but persistence. Proof that grace can find anyone, anywhere. Proof that faith still works. Proof that heaven keeps promises even when it seems silent. And perhaps the most beautiful part of it all is this: your deliverance continues. God didn't just save you once. He's saving you daily, saving you from bitterness, from fear, from forgetting who you are. Deliverance isn't a single event, it's a rhythm. Every day you choose faith over fear, you are being delivered again. The mark of true deliverance is peace, not the absence of trouble, but the absence of panic. You've learned how to rest while the waves still move. You've learned how to see God's hand even in what you don't understand. That quiet steadiness is the greatest miracle of all. One day, someone will come to you desperate for a sign that deliverance is real. And you won't need to quote verses or speak grand words. You will simply look at them and say, "You're looking at it." Because that's who you are now, the living, breathing proof that God delivers. The testimony that walks, the evidence that breathes, the miracle that keeps unfolding. So stand tall, not in pride, but in gratitude. You are a letter written by grace, sealed by mercy, read by the world. And every time your heart beats, it spells the same truth heaven keeps singing over you: God still delivers. The coronation of the unbroken does not happen in grand halls or before crowds. It happens in silence. It begins when heaven bends low over a soul that has endured everything and still whispers, "I believe." This is the moment you've been walking toward without even realizing it. The crowning not of a perfect life, but of a faithful one. All that you have passed through, the pain, the delay, the isolation, was not a denial of destiny, but the preparation for it. The trials were not random, they were rehearsals for glory. Every tear you shed washed the gold of your spirit clean. Every disappointment sculpted humility into your heart. You were not waiting for a crown made of metal, but one made of meaning. And now, heaven is placing it upon your head. It was written long ago in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. That crown is not merely a reward at the end of life. It is the mark of one who has walked through fire and remained pure in motive. It is the sign of someone who kept their integrity when compromise was easier, who chose faith when fear screamed louder. It is the emblem of the unbroken. To be unbroken doesn't mean untouched, it means unyielding. You have been bent by grief, stretched by struggle, pressed by purpose, but you did not break. You have become like iron refined in divine flame, flexible yet unshakable. Heaven delights in such souls, for they mirror the endurance of the one who bore the cross without surrendering his compassion. Your coronation has already begun. You may not see a crown, but you feel it, the quiet weight of dignity resting upon your spirit. That's why you walk differently now, not with pride, but with peace. You carry yourself with the calm assurance of someone who has nothing left to prove and everything left to give. That serenity is your crown. There is a stillness that surrounds the crowned ones. They no longer chase applause because they've tasted divine approval. They no longer seek validation because they have heaven's recognition. They move gently through the world, aware that their presence itself shifts atmospheres. You are one of them now. Heaven knows your name, and eternity recognizes your footsteps. Every crowned soul carries a certain fragrance, the scent of perseverance and grace intertwined. It's not perfume, it's presence. When you enter a room, peace follows, not because of your words, but because your spirit has been seasoned by surrender. People feel something when they encounter you, even if they can't describe it. That's what coronation does. It turns pain into radiance. You were once broken, but now you are whole. You were once wandering, but now you walk with purpose. You were once silenced, but now your life speaks louder than any sermon. You don't need to announce who you are. The light upon you already does. Think of it like this: when a tree survives the storm, it no longer fears the wind. Its roots grow deeper, its bark grows thicker, and its branches stretch wider toward heaven. That is you. The storms that once threatened to uproot you have only anchored you deeper in truth. You stand taller now, not because life became easier, but because your soul became wiser. And so, heaven crowns you not for what you achieved, but for what you overcame. The crown of the unbroken is not placed upon the head as decoration, it is placed as declaration. It says, "This one endured, this one held the line, this one remained faithful." The coronation does not end in this life. It continues eternally. Each act of faith adding another gleam to your crown, each moment of compassion adding another jewel. Every person you lift, every word you speak in kindness, every prayer you whisper for others, these are the royal acts of a chosen soul. You reign not through dominance, but through love. You may not realize it yet, but your journey has already shifted from battle to blessing. The battlefield that once drained you has become a field of harvest. The ashes of your old self have turned into soil for others to grow. You are no longer just the one who fought, you are the one who finished well. Heaven's song over you now is simple and strong. This one did not quit. The universe echoes with it, angels proclaim it, and eternity records it. You are crowned, not because you never stumbled, but because you never stopped rising. And now, as you step into this final stretch of your divine story, walk gently, knowing that the hardest part is behind you. The rest of your days will be filled not with striving, but with shining. The same God who crowned you in secret will display his glory through you in ways you cannot yet imagine. You are the coronated, the unbroken, the refined, the radiant. The storm did not end you, it enthroned you. Beloved chosen one, before you go, take a quiet moment to breathe in what you've just walked through. These words were never just sentences, they were mirrors, reminders of what heaven already saw in you. If any part of this journey touched your heart, let your response be more than silent agreement, let it ripple outward. When you like this message, you're not just reacting, you're saying, "Yes, I received this." When you share it, you're becoming a messenger, passing the torch to another soul who might still be standing in their storm. When you subscribe, you're joining a circle of light people across the world walking in the same rhythm of endurance and grace. And your comments, those matter deeply. Each one becomes a spark of connection, a testimony, a whispered amen in a world that desperately needs reminders of faith. Tell your story. Leave your truth. Someone scrolling in silence will read your words and find courage again. You've come this far and heaven smiles still. Keep shining, keep walking, and keep spreading the flame. Because every click of faith, every word of hope, every act of love keeps this divine light alive.